Hey everyone, I'm Brando, and he's Ryan, and together we are Commander Cookout Podcast, and we are coming at you today with a very special announcement. We have got something very cool for you to get on board with.
That is right. We are finally here, and we're finally ready to show you guys all of the merch that we've been working on for the better part of a dang old year. Show them what we got.
I got a playmat. I got another playmat. This one with stitched edges. I got stickers up the wazoo. I've got dice that you're never going to see ever again because they're super cool and all unique, just like us and you.
This is so exciting, if you can't tell, for us to finally bring to you. We are asked every day, every week, emails and Twitters and everywhere that you can interact with us. When are we getting CCO
shirts?
When are we getting new stickers? When are we getting a CCO playmat? The time is now. Head on over to our Kickstarter campaign. You can find it anywhere you find CCO. That is commandercookout.com, the podcast on any platform, or of course on YouTube. Head over, find what tickles your fancy. Playmats can be signed or unsigned, stitched or unstitched, whatever you want.
Or you can do all four. But Ryan, what if they're out there thinking, yeah, I'd like to support them, but maybe later?
Well, here's the thing. The Kickstarter campaign runs for 30 days only. So if you want to jump on and show your certificate of citizenship for CCO Nation, try saying that 5 times fast.
I will not.
Now is your opportunity because the mat is never going to be reproduced ever again. We swindled Magic community member Andre Garcia into doing the playmat for us, and it's fantastic. We'll talk about that in a second. We also swindled him to do a bunch of tokens for us that art match with these mugs on them. So if you like goblins, zombies, angels, treasures, monarchs, or an elf that doesn't even look like us because he's actually handsome, now's your opportunity to get the whole CCO package. But we want to spend a little bit of time on the playmat to tell you a little bit about not only the details and what's featured in it, but also kind of about the color scheme and how it relates to the podcast. So give us the inception for the playmat as a whole and what you see as you walk into CCO Nation.
We have the most intense podcast intro in Magic the Gathering podcasting history. The first thing you hear is my voice, blah, 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 blah. You hear some rockin' ass music, and then it's time for our whirlwind adventure. And that is the first thing you see when you enter the gates of the nation is the Whirlwind Adventure theme park ride. And this theme park has it all. It's got bright colors, it's got mascots, it's got people, it's got prizes, it's got dragons, it's got cactuses, it's got ghosts.
Squirrels, lotuses.
Anything that's magic related that you think that we've ever even sort of alluded to is hidden in here somewhere. Garcia did a great job for us, and we want to share it with you, so do not miss out on this one.
That's right. This is the stuff that you guys have been asking us for the better part of a year. We've been hinting at it on the podcast a whole ton, and we're super happy that it turned out as good as it is, and we're so excited to share it with everybody out in the nation.
And not only is this mat, these shirts, the stickers, the dice, an homage to the CCO podcast, it's also an homage and a big thank you to everybody that supported us over the last few years as we have gone on this whirlwind adventure, and this is our way of giving a little bit back of ourselves to you to really show that you're part of a community that you yourselves have helped us build. And we're really, really proud to be able to offer this to you guys on this Kickstarter, only for a limited time. So remember, don't sleep on this. Now's the time.
Yeah, the best dang old community in all of Magic, hands down. I will fight somebody about that.
It's scientifically proven. It's just science.
Hit our theme song! Hey, this is the Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 277. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and we're going to talk about the Toxrill Avenger. Now, hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Very, very good. What is going down? You got 2 varies today.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
And it's early, and you're kind of hungover. I'm kind of hungover, but it's still very, very good.
Good. Well, we're going to get into why it's good. We're going to talk about a deck and all that other kind of fun stuff that we usually do on the show. Before we do any of that, we have to thank our official business daddies, FusionGamingOnline.com. They are your source for all your gaming needs.
Very much so. And
And I'm waiting for my last fusion order to come in prior to Magic the Gathering Las Vegas, which is, I think at this point now over.
Yeah, I think
based on when we're recording this or when you were listening to this.
I was just gonna say, like, how are we feeling after Vegas, Ryan?
Oh, way more hungover and tired.
And you're like, well, we haven't been back yet. It's like, yes, we fucking have,
Yes,
man,
we
because
have.
we've been in Vegas. We've met everybody. We had fun with you.
We'll talk
and it's
about that in
amazing.
a minute. My order that's coming in used CCO Fusion 5 promo code to get 5% off my order of stuff that I needed for Vegas. I needed it.
You needed it?
Yes.
So wait, you had cards that you needed and you bought them?
Yes.
And you saved 5% on them?
You got a discount, baby.
And supported the show?
Yes.
Seems like a good deal to me.
Very much so. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Speaking of supporting the show, you saw the Kickstarter video just before the show. That's still going on, and we very much appreciate all the support that we assume has come in because at this exact time, like Ryan and Brando right now, it hasn't officially launched.
Man, you're ruining the illusion of us being in the future right now.
But also, we record way in advance because we're podcasting professionals.
I like it better when we pretend that it's like the time that it is. When people are listening to this and not the time that it actually is.
That's your
when we're
weird
recording
fantasy about being like on the radio.
No, it's a weird fantasy about being a time traveler. Okay, there's a difference because this is 2 weeks in the future.
Sure.
That's sweet.
Right exactly now in the future, because you're obviously listening to us live, you can get this shirt. This exact one. Not this exact one.
Ryan will send you the shirt off his back. Won't even wash it.
Yeah.
One lucky supporter of the Kickstarter will get Ryan's unwashed shirt.
What if we did that? Do you think that more people would go over to Kickstarter or less people?
Well, we're going to find out because we're doing it. We're literally doing it.
Link to the Kickstarter in the notes below, wherever you find the show. If you follow us on Twitter, CCO Podcast or CCO Brando, you can find it there. And of course, Facebook.com/CCO Podcast. All good places to like and follow.
And if you're watching on YouTube, which you fucking should be, there's going to be a link floating around our heads in the cards or whatever too.
Joe will do some creative editing, and I'll if it lets me put a Kickstarter card up here, I'll do it. But some links you can't put up there.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's probably because YouTube wants a cut.
Yeah. Most likely. But
Heck 'em.
thank you for all the support for everybody. We're gonna do a virtual hangout after this. So just to kind of tell some patrons about that and hang out in the Discord and say thanks. And
What Ryan meant is we did a virtual hangout after this.
yes.
And yeah.
I
Come
can't,
on, man.
I don't know if
You got to future tense ourselves, man. We're professionals.
but if this is like live right when they're listening to it,
But it
it
isn't.
hasn't happened yet.
But it isn't live when they're listening to it. But we are appearing in their ear and eye holes on Tuesday.
Oh fuck! I'm so confused
You
now.
got to follow along the bouncing ball, right? We're in the future right now, and we're in the world where Vegas has happened, and we've had the most fun,
We have.
and we met lots of great people.
Yes, we did. Played some good games.
We sure as hell did.
We drank beer.
Oh, you dang right we did.
We had tacos and or other delicious foods.
Yeah. See, all those things have happened, even though we have not yet experienced them. By the time people consume this media that we are creating, we will have experienced
This
it.
is like some multi-universe
Yeah,
fucking shit, hey?
exactly.
This is like some infinite universe type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I'm trying to think of a C word. I said it twice so I could give myself more time to think of a C word to make us like Time Conundrum Cookout Podcast or something. I don't know.
Well, Conundrum Cookout Podcast, it works.
Hey, yeah, there we go.
We got there.
I was going to say Schrodinger's Cat Cookout Podcast. We're both recording and not recording. We're both in Vegas and not in Vegas. Right now, in the future, and in the past.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. We have some more podcast biznatch. though.
What?
Some more business.
Okay.
We
fine.
always have business.
Well, should we read the commander first? And then
We
talk
already-
about the business?
We already told them who it was.
Well, yeah, we didn't tell him what he does.
Sure. Read them. Read him how we read him on the review, because the last line of him is the funniest, because it gives us like the extra thing, the extra color.
Toxrill the Corrosive is a 7/7 for black 5 slug horror.
Yeah.
At the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Each. That's 2 eaches.
Yep.
Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each. There's another instance of each. Slime counter on them. Let us continue. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it eats shit, you get a 1/1 black slug creature token. And then, like, tucked into the corner as post text, blue-black, sack a slug, draw a card.
Oh, man. So this is what I assume. We're putting -1/-1 counters.
Yeah.
On all of our opponent's creatures. Can you imagine how much less text it would have been if they just did that? During each upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on each opponent's creatures.
Can you imagine like how much better Toxrill would be if that's what it did, though?
And then we got blue-black, sack a slug, draw a card. When I first saw this deck, and it came from Nat Thompson, Spectrar Ghost Groaner on Discord. We'll talk about the Discord in a minute. When I first saw it, I opened up the link and I was like, I read Toxrill and kind of looked at the deck, read some more of Toxrill, looked at more of the deck. I had to like do it in multiple sittings because there's so many words on Toxrill and all of the Crimson Vow cards. I was like, why the fuck is there blue in this deck? This doesn't make sense. Is it not a Toxrill deck? Is it Secret Commander or whatever? Then I got all the way to the bottom and I saw blue-black. I was like, oh man, they totally trolled me.
This is just Brando being like Brando. But I think that the reason they added blue was a last-minute thing for this guy here.
Oh, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Because they wanted them to play together because they both do kind of the same thing.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, ah, shit.
We already did this thing. Mother ass.
Let's throw a blue pip in there somewhere, goddammit. And
and
that's why we did that.
Yep.
But we'll get to that creature later.
Okay, the podcasting business. The business that we have. Got a couple things.
Okay.
Let's start with our giveaway pack. Because we got 2 to do this week.
Let's do them.
So this is what you do. You go over to the CCO pre-show. If you're a new sub, new watcher, thanks for being here. Mm-hmm. Sorry it took so long. Go to the pre-show. You guess whatever hint we're trying to give.
Or participate in the conversation that we are championing. Yes. In this case, like, do you know stuff about the Toxic Avenger? Or have you ever seen Captain Planet? Or, just interesting stuff. Tell us about things that you know about, and we'll give you packs.
Well, last week, guesser of Grolnock, the frog guy, was Buckus 30.
100% a real name.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, Buckus 30. You get at us at CCO Podcast on Twitter or commandercookout@gmail.com. You can claim your pack.
Yeah.
That's lots of fun.
Draw it out of the stinky onion sack, and we'll put it in an envelope. Send it off.
Send it straight to your house, most likely with a CCO sticker, of which there will be, well, cross your fingers by this time, new ones unlocked because of the Kickstarter.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the add-ons or, no.
Stretch goals.
There it is. I'm learning all the lingo so I can speak it with the kids,
Yeah, so we can talk Kickstarter with people,
Yeah,
I don't understand how it works either. I've backed a couple. I still haven't got anything from them.
Oh.
But that's not going to happen with us because you're going to get the shit that's important.
Yes, very important. That's part of the reason it took so long is figuring out all the logistics and stuff with the year that was last year.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? Okay,
yeah,
so
buddy.
We got one more thing, though. I mentioned the Discord. It's a benefit to becoming a patron. Mm-hmm. We have some new patrons.
Ooh.
Yes. We've got 2 on tomorrow's bonus show. One of them is specifically on tomorrow's show for a reason. So we're going to thank that person tomorrow.
Okay.
Today's thank you, first one.
Okay.
James Melfi.
Jimmy Milf.
I was just going to say, sounds a lot like MILF.
Yeah, Jimmy Milf.
I wonder if he's ever heard that before.
Definitely hasn't. And if he has, well, you know what?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what? I almost like J MILF. Kind of sounds like.
But Jimmy sounds like.
Makes him sound less like an actual MILF and more like this is his nickname.
Yeah. Jimmy Milf.
Probably a good thing. I would like to fantasize J MILF, whoever that is. I do want to know. Might have to Google that.
Sure. I won't. I like Jimmy Milf. I hope to see him getting finger blasted in the Discord in the near future. Those are 2 more benefits to becoming a patron of the show, is everybody gives you the finger after we give you a nickname.
Yes. Well, usually before, because they're on the Discord before that.
Oh, yeah.
Getting back to finger blasting J-MILF, though. Don't Google that.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well, anyways, thanks for being here. Thank you for the support. We very much appreciate it. And, of course,
F you.
very much so. Second one, I got to turn my computer because this is a long one. This is Alexander Hollowell. Hollowell? There's 2 L's both times. Hollowell. It's like halal, or it's like hummus, or it's like baklava. Those are all kind of just weird words that kind of sound like Hollowell.
None of those rhyme with Hollowell at all.
Well, they don't have to rhyme. They just need to sound the same when you make the noises with your mouth. It almost sounds like a Christmas dinner or like a festivity.
What's his first name? Alexander.
Hollowell the Great? I don't know. I was trying to think of something.
What about Alexander Stuffed Turkey Dinner?
Oh, yeah. Alexander Stuffed Turkey. That sounds like a CCO nickname, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's all kinds of nicknames like that floating around the Discord for sure that are just like us connecting the dots in the infinity verse where
we live.
One of the universes is his actual name is Stuffed Turkey.
Yes. So we'll go with that.
Though
Alexander Stuffed Turkey Dinner for Christmas.
If there is multiple universes, if there's infinity universes, there's got to be one where I'm Ryan Stuffed Turkey for dinner. And you're Brando Stuffed Turkey for dinner.
That's right. That is the truth. That is a truism about infinite universes.
This sounds like a conversation that we would have on our annual CCO's Seasons Beating episode, our Christmas episode.
Oh, somebody already suggested a thing for it that I think we should totally do, and they did like the 12 Days of Christmas, but as a deck. Oh man!
Yes,
I want to do it.
Is that the one where it came in but they were like,
yeah, there's
it's
like
87 cards, so you've already missed like the first 20 days. Yeah. Of Christmas. Oh man. Well, okay. Here's the thing, I guess.
Christmas episode stuff.
Are you teasing? Or are you giving out ideas? Because we can't give out ideas and ruin the surprise of Christmas.
No, I got a super fast story that is about one of our previous Seasons Beatings episode decks. So I played in a dual commander event last week for charity, and it didn't go very well because they changed that day what the ban list was going to be from the regular EDH ban list to the dual commander ban list.
Somebody asked the question, "Hey, is this dual commander ban list?" And then the store was like, "Oh, I didn't know there was a difference. Let's look it up." Oh yeah, everybody's got to change all these cards because dual commander.
So all 4 of the decks that I brought that day, not playable. So I borrowed a deck from a guy and just got shit hauled because I learned the deck as I was playing it at this event, and it just was. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I went home and I built my own commander deck and my own dual commander deck, and I basically just built the Xenagos Christmas balls list.
No,
from the old and it at least in
it balls.
Oh yeah, it's fucking good.
It shows up to ball.
Yeah, you know what does 30 damage real fast?
Balls.
Ball lightning, baby. Primal Force Mage Ball Lightning Xenagos.
Yes.
Yeah, fucking take 18.
I like
Very
it.
good.
I like that.
I just thought that was cool. So
That's fun.
I CDH'd up a joke Christmas deck that we did.
Very excellent. I was going to say, if you have your own suggestions for Seasons Beatings episodes or other holiday themed ones, because we like those.
But they're fun.
Another benefit of the patron is the deck list channels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not a patron and you want to support other ways, you can go to commandercookout@gmail.com, submit lists there. We do keep them all. We do see them all.
Mm-hmm.
And
they all go in the pile so that we can use them later if we have something that's
if we need them, we draw. And it's kind of like the virtual stinky onion bag. Eh?
Yeah. We don't get a lot of like shitty stinker lists, which I like.
Yeah.
I like that lots.
It's good. We did get one super funny. I think Finger Blast Mommy 2 Cone Mommersteig sent it in, and he was like, "You guys wanted Spider Tribal?" He was like, "Here's 40 lands and 60 spiners." Or something.
Yeah.
Like,
you asshole.
You asshole. Yeah. It was great.
This deck sucks.
It was great. Okay, let's answer some questions. Let's see if we have any questions that need to be answered of Toxrill before we do the deck.
Is he dope as hell?
Yes.
Okay.
That's an easy one.
That's the first one.
I have seen all over the interwebs the range. Everything from shitty slug tribal, and there's like 9 slugs.
Yeah, we looked that up on the pre-show. There's
Plus,
9 of them, 5 of which you can play in the deck, 1 of which is Toxrill.
And all of the choose a creature type, all things are that creature type, are mostly in blue and black.
Yep.
So that's possible.
Yeah, you could do it with changelings, I guess.
And I've seen all the way to the other end in CEDH groups and message boards like Toxrill stacks, kill all of your opponent's creatures, mana dorks, and commanders. I've seen him both ways.
Yeah.
He's good, just as good coming as going, I guess.
Yeah.
7 CMC commander. We got to keep that in mind.
It's 7 is the new 4.
Yeah.
I'm
But also 2 is the new 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep that in mind. We'll keep it in mind all the way until we get to strengths and weaknesses, okay?
Okay.
Control package, or is it aggro? Like, what kind of deck is it? We'll have to see that kind of develop.
I would certainly build this with a control
Mindset?
grindy mindset.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be
Okay.
swinging for too many fences with this.
Okay, unless you're swinging with Toxrill specifically because your opponent's board is
Well, free of everything.
free of everything, and he's a 3-pump chump, a 3-brain chump, if you will.
Yeah, because his ass is a brain.
And he's got 7 power.
Yeah.
So-
That's why he has 7 power, because his ass is a brain.
He'll
and
just brain you.
the greatest power is your mind, baby.
Oh,
That's deep. That's deep.
Yes, that's for all the young ladies in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
Your greatest asset is your mind.
Yes.
Let's
CCO life lesson.
There it is.
I love using that stamp.
well, we don't use it. We make Joe Mama do it.
Yeah, Joe does it. But
Thanks, Joe.
I appreciate him for doing it.
Very much so. Let's hop on over to the cards in the deck.
Sounds fantastic. All right, Ryan, where should we start? There's a lot. We got custom categories with sweet ass names,
Yes.
and with sweet ass names, sometimes we kind of lose what everything does. Let's start with the plants.
Just on that really quick though. Big shout out to Nat Thompson for actually giving us custom categories. That helps out a ton.
Yes.
When we're doing decks, you don't need 87 custom categories. We understand usually cards cross over, but if you let us know easily and visually where the mana rocks are and where the card draw and land ramp spells are, apart from everything else that the deck does, helps out a ton. So just throwing that out there to everybody.
Good. We'll start with the plants. They're the rocks.
Oh,
which
okay.
is because rocks also go in a garden, but whatever. That's just we have thought.
You could paint plants onto rocks. That was a big thing that the lady at the art store that I get paint at, she was like, yeah, people buy this paint. They say that they paint rocks with their kids. I'm like, fuck, I need this. I can't get it. There's a ship stuck in the Suez Canal during COVID, and I can't get the paint that I need. People who I was asking to send me paint from the States, they'll remember. Anyways.
So we have Thought Vessel, Talisman of Dominance, Sol Ring, Mind Stone, Dimir Signet, Commander Sphere, Black Market, Arcane Signet. Those are all things. Black Market is especially good in this deck. It's an enchantment for 5, 2 of which are black. Creature dies, put a counter on it. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you get a black mana for each counter that's on Black Market. Toxrill is going to kill a lot of shit. You're going to get a lot of mana with your Black Market.
Very much so.
Let's move on to the next really quick category. It's going to be the Salt.
Oh, yeah.
Which is weird because salt, when you put it on a slug, the slug melts. So I don't know if like the opponents get salty when you play these, or if it's meant to kill the... Because it's meant to protect Toxrill, but salt doesn't protect slugs.
I think it's to demonstrate the utter domination that you will impose on your opponents, where it's like, I pour salt on myself and it doesn't hurt me, doesn't hurt my brain ass.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so these are counter spells. Negate, Malakir Rebirth, Force of Negation, Drown in the Loch, Dissolve, Dissipate, Counter Squall, and Counter Spell. We included Malakir Rebirth in the counter spell section because, like, you cast it on your dude in response to somebody killing it, then it goes to the yard, then it comes back to play.
Choose a creature type, you lose 2 life until end of turn. That creature gains when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Yeah, if you wanted to run more of those, there are 4 or 5 of that effect that you can usually find in Gonti decks because he's got an ETB that you want him to die and come back. So if you didn't want to run counterspells, or if you didn't want to run stuff that cost blue, if you didn't want to upgrade your counterspells to cryptic commands or whatever for blue, you could just run the 1 or black or black 1 cards that do that.
Yeah, agreed.
And bonus points for Malakuri Rebirth because it's a land on the other side too.
Yeah. Okay, let's hit the removal section. The squish. You step on me, I don't even die because my brain is so powerful.
I don't want my brain to get stepped on though, that's for sure.
No, me either.
Neither of them. Don't Google that?
Nah, people know. I'll hit these real fast too. Urborg Justice, Tragic Slip, Reality Shift, Rapid Hybridization, Pongify, Into the Royal, Infernal Grasp, Feed the Swarm, Blink of an Eye, Baleful Mastery. Boom.
Shout out to 2 of those in there. I know you hit them quick, but I want to talk about 2.
Do it.
Blink of an Eye, that is the same card as Into the Royal. It just has a generic name. So if you want 2 of bounce target creature with kicker, draw card, you could have 2 of those.
Yep. And also Blink of an Eye, really cool art.
Yes.
Very cool art.
A second thing I wanted to talk about, and people I think sleep on this card or just don't know it exists. That's Urborg Justice. I played this in my Alenda deck for like a good ass long time. And this is, I'll read the actual card text. Target opponent chooses and buries a number of creatures he or she controls equal to the number of creatures put into your graveyard from play so far this turn. So essentially, destroy, they can't be regenerated, X of your opponent's creatures, where X is the number of creatures that we had die.
So it's kind of like what's it called? A Grave Pact that happens.
A Grave Pact instant.
To one person. That's pretty cool.
It's really good, and especially good in decks where you have like a sack outlet, like in Alenda. Where I played it, it was like sack my guy, sack my guy, sack my guy, sack my guy. And Urborg Justice, you have to sack 4 guys now too.
Neat.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
Yeah,
I'm
into that. I think Marin players would really benefit from that card.
Ooh.
Yeah, because they're always sacking their shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move to the Cornucopia.
Well, hold on.
What?
Let's move to the defoliation, because you just brought up Grave Pact.
Oh, yeah.
And we're playing Grave Pact, Dictate of Erebos, and Aether Barrier. Give that piece of garbage a read.
Are you kidding? Have you seen the art on this card?
Goes in Crab Tribal.
Of course it does, because it has a little crab guy with a little smiley face, Ryan.
I don't know if that's his face or just a coincidence that those lines are like...
You can't put lines on a card like that and then not say that it's his face.
Expect people to not interpret that as his face. 2 dots with a line under them.
Exactly. That's his face. Aether Barrier is an enchantment for blue 2 from, what is it, Nemesis?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, Nemesis. Whenever a player plays a creature spell, that player sacks a permanent unless he or she pays 1.
Yeah, that kind of is it's like a stacks card.
Yep.
It's a stacks card of that era.
Yeah.
Right, and it goes in with, I guess I'll just, whatever. It's a control card. What is it?
Well, it reminds me lots of Rhystic Study in that it's the same, except it's like a different sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know.
Well,
I'm running the parallel in my brain. I'm not sure why, but I am.
You know why? Because the prefix to card names, Rhystic, was a thing in Masks block whereby you give your opponent the choice of paying 1 or we get a benefit.
Yeah.
And there was Rhystic Tutor, Rhystic Study, Rhystic
Cavern
where you get mana unless your opponent pays 1. This fits in there but doesn't have the prefix. But
yeah,
you could Scryfall Rhystic and get a bunch of cards that all do that same type of thing.
That's probably why I was. This could be Rhystic Barrier.
This could be Rhystic Crab Guy.
Oh yeah.
Rhystic Crab sounds like it's already a card. I know that it's not, but it should be.
Oh yeah, it definitely should be.
Like
Wizards, if you want to steal that one, do it.
Like the name Squash should be a card, but I don't think it is. Right? Like Lightning Bolt sounds like it should be a card.
And I mean, it happens to be, yeah.
Yeah. So Rhystic Crab, I guess get on it. Give us Madi Ho Ho Ho.
I like it.
I want Modern Horizons 3 to come out on Christmas so we can call it Madi Ho Ho Ho.
Agreed. Yes.
That's the fucking
That's
best.
another Christmas idea. Yes. Okay. The Cornucopia.
Here we go.
It's another one we can bunch some stuff together where we're playing Spark Double, Sakashima the Imposter, Sakashima of 1,000 Faces, Helm of the Host, Rite of Replication. With the exception of Rite of Replication, all of those are going to be clone effects where we can clone Toxrill because they're non-legendary. You can copy other stuff too, but I think they're there to copy Toxrill.
To Copsrill.
Yes. Yes.
You could, if you Sakashima'd Toxrill and then Rite of Replicationed it. Does that work? No, I don't think it does. One of the Sakashimas it would work though, wouldn't it? Sakashima of 1,000 Faces says
Yes.
the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. So you could Rite of Replicate Sakashima of 1,000 Faces when it is Toxrill, and you could have how many copies does it make? 6?
6?
6 plus 5.
So you have 6 Toxrills. 7 Toxrills.
7 Toxrills. There it is. We got there.
Yes.
You'd have 7 Toxrills. So each turn, each of your opponent's creatures all get 7 slime counters,
Yeah.
which would give them all -7, -7.
Yeah.
And then what is the other thing? Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, they would just, your opponents would never play creatures.
Yeah, you would not get, all of a sudden reap many slugs. You would get some slugs for the creatures that were in play, and then that's it.
Okay, so let's break that down a little bit. What does that mean? I think that because Toxrill costs 7 and we got only 8 mana rocks, we get this out on turn 5 sometimes, turn 6 sometimes, turn 7 sometimes.
Yep.
The bell curve is the highest on turn 6 probably.
Probably.
So we get slug counters and sack a slug to draw a card how many times in a game? 2 or 3?
I guess.
Do you think that that's accurate?
I don't know. It really
Just on average, not Magical Christmas Land, Sakashima, Rite of Replication, get fucking everything, right? Like probably 2 or 3 times we do that because we got early game utility or mana dorks, right?
I think in the games where you're probably going to play this exact version of this deck, you're probably going to get, by the time it gets back to you, you'll have killed 5, 6, 7 creatures maybe.
You think that many?
Well, they're getting 4 -1. Like -4
I
-4 is
suppose, yeah.
significant. That's going to get all the utility creatures.
Pretty much,
That's going to
yeah.
get some of your bigger tokens,
Yeah.
right? Like you're going to get that Beast Within token that somebody got.
Do you
You're
think
gonna
that somebody auto removes Toxrill to not lose their utility guys or dorks?
Oh yeah, Toxrill's going to just eat shit immediately.
I wonder if we
hard
can
truth.
I wonder if we can get cards off it before that happens. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like do we need extra card draw, or do we not care about Toxrill's card draw? We care about Toxrill's control to keep the board clean.
I think that you play Toxrill for the shriveling of your opponent's board and don't look at him as a card draw engine. Because
Yes,
if you're going to play him, let's just say on turn 6, it's probably going to take all your mana. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to get a couple of slugs, and it's like, well, I don't have any mana left to sack them. And then how often on your turn are you going to want to sorcery speed sack a slug kind of thing?
Yeah, and that's why the forces and the packs of negations and the fierce guardianships are so important in the CEDH deck, because if you're dropping 6 mana to slowly clear the board, you're going to need to protect that so you can actually draw cards.
Yes.
With Toxrill, so you can take full advantage of Toxrill.
Correct.
Next category, the Splat.
Now, this is the mass removal category, am I correct?
Yeah, when we're talking about Toxrill and saying, well, we're not going to get a ton of card draw off of them, let's use them as like a removal kind of engine, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some more removal.
Let's do it.
The Splat. Vona's Hunger, the first one.
I like this card a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this card. Give it a read.
I like it. Vona's Hunger is an instant for black 2. It has Ascend. We'll get to that. That means if you have 10 permanents.
Yeah, if you got 10 permanents, it does better.
So each opponent sacrifices a creature. But if you have the City's Blessing from Ascending, instead each opponent sacrifices half their creatures rounded up.
Half. Rounded up, though. And it's an instant. So if they got 3 creatures, you get 2 of them, and they keep their best one.
Yeah, you always get the best one, which...
They always get to keep the best one, is what you mean.
Yeah, they always get to keep their best thing, but I mean, they lose the rest of it, and you're probably going to get a slug off of each one.
Oh, yay, that's a good thing. And that's I guess, why the Grave Packs and Dictates are in here, too, is because they probably have slime counters on them.
Yeah, you can sack your slug and then everybody sacks a dude, all those dudes have -1/-1 counters on them. So then you get more slugs.
Okay, the picture is starting to be painted in my mind.
Yeah,
okay, maybe we will have lots of slugs because we'll just kill shit like randomly.
Yeah.
But all the stuff that dies is going to have slime on it.
As long as
It's going to be slimed.
As long as a turn has ended, there's going to be slime counters.
Gross.
Yeah.
Next splatter.
Sudden spoiling.
I do like this one. Sudden spoiling is instant again. This time even more instanter.
Yeah, because it's a split second.
Yes, this is the instantest of instants.
The instantiest.
Yes, got there.
Did it.
Split second, until end of turn, creatures target player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 0-2. That still have slime counters on them. So if they have 2 on them,
They're all dead.
they're dead.
Yeah.
Cool.
I like
Okay.
that.
Next one. They're all frogs.
Yes.
Polymorphist Jest. Another instant.
These are cool, man.
I'm seeing a trend.
These are cool. And until end of turn, each creature target player controls loses all abilities and becomes a blue frog that is a 1/1.
And it would die
Yes.
if it has a slime on it.
And it will because a turn has ended.
That's when you would cast this.
Mm-hmm.
The only other time you might cast this is like if you're getting alpha striked.
Yeah.
And maybe you're on the ropes. It's like, okay, I just give myself another turn, right?
Yeah.
I'll take 5 instead of
100.
80.
Yeah.
yeah. And then mass diminish. Not an instant, but until end of turn, creatures target player controls have base power and toughness 1/1 and flashback for 4.
And this is until the end of your next turn, or until your next turn. So that means you get a whole round of the table of somebody's stuff sucking.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is a cool card. I like that one.
Yeah, and their stuff will die. We'll get slimes.
Yep.
We'll get slugs, We'll get
yeah.
slugs that we can sacrifice to draw cards. Okay. If I were me,
And you are.
and I am, and if I was going to build Toxrill, I would maybe try and include more cards like this. More things that kill creatures while they have slime on them. Let's see what else we got. Like we got counter spells, and we've got bounce, and we've got Pongify and rapid hybridization and shit. Those counter things off the stack, they bounce or they exile.
Mm-hmm.
I want things to die, don't I? If I was me,
Yeah.
I want stuff to die so I can get slugs.
True. Yeah.
Right? And then coat of arms, and it just fucking kill you.
You know that's. Yeah.
Coat of slugs,
Coat of slugs.
slug of arms.
I like that better.
I like slug of arms.
Yes, me too. Okay, should we talk gardeners, the slime, the rot,
Ooh,
the fence? Let's do the gardeners quick because I'm looking at them.
yeah, sure.
They're the planeswalkers in the deck. We've got Ashiok Dream Render. That's the no opponent search exile graveyard guy.
that guy's so good, hey?
Yeah.
That's a good ass card.
Narset Parter of Veils. That's the opponents can't draw more than 1 card each turn. One also puts some non-creature.
Also
non-land
very
cards.
good.
Also super good.
Yep.
Obnix Reignited is a 5 loyalty one for 5. Draw a card, lose a life, destroy a creature, or
Hey.
an opponent gets an emblem with whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life.
All of those are fine.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
And there's another Obnix. This one also is a 5 loyalty for 5. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Obnix deals 1 damage to them and -2 destroy target creature its controller draws 2 cards.
If we just need a slug, or got to get something out of the way,
Or you kill your own slug.
or kill your own slug, and then Obnixilis offers you what Toxrill's last ability offers you, but better.
Yeah.
I think all of those are fine includes.
They're good to be there.
Okay, next category. The rot.
The rot.
Are these like the payoffs? Kind of.
Well, I think it's rot because it's aristocrats shit.
Because you hate aristocrats.
Because I don't like aristocrats. But we're in this deck.
They are a cornerstone of EDH now,
Yes.
right? Like
And-
they are as prevalent as mana dorks,
Yes.
right? Like dorks, in my mind, dorks now also has like a new category of aristocrats. Even though they don't give you mana, but they're doing a function that the deck needs, like mana dorks do,
Yeah.
and that is to make your opponents lose life when things die.
I bought my first Blood Artist a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Bought my first one?
Wow,
Yeah.
foil?
No. Secret Lair.
Also good.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Okay.
So for our rot, we have Zulaport Cutthroat,
Yep.
Sir Conrad, Falconrith Noble, and Death Greeter. Those are our aristocrats.
Death Greeter's a little bit weird because it says whenever another creature Oh no, it's a dies one. We gain a life. That's why it's
life.
different. Yeah. That's fine.
It's okay. And then the other card in the section is Torment of Hailfire. We all know Torment of Hailfire.
Yeah, you get lots of mana, it's gonna win.
Yeah, you use that with your black market we talked about earlier, and you're gonna take down somebody with that.
Of particular note, player sacrifices non-land permanent, right? You can pay 3 life, sack a non-land permanent, or discard a card, and you do X times 3, right?
Yeah.
You want your opponent to sacrifice non-land permanents so we can get slugs so we can draw cards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or you want them to run out of permanents and cards, they take 3 damage and die.
Also good.
That's also what we want to do with
also
that.
good. Okay, the Fence. This is Arcane Laboratory, only 1 spell cast each turn. We've got Planar Void. Whenever a card is put into the graveyard, you exile it. And is that a replacement effect? So it replaces dies and we don't get slugs?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't want that.
That's a non-bow.
Nat Thompson.
Wait, it doesn't
get shit out of
say it doesn't say instead.
Well, it's from Urza's Saga.
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably been errated.
Yeah, get that out of there.
And then Propagandy, of course, just for some protection. But you know what? I don't even know if you need those. If you need those 3 cards in here,
Because you're going to have slugs and all their dudes are going to be small.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like an early game thing while you try and get slugs
I
and
suppose.
make small.
You know what the format, I think the format's done, instead of putting up a fence like that, they'll just say, okay, I'm going to cut Propaganda, Planar Void, Arcane Sig, whatever it is, Laboratory. I'm going to put like Mana Rock, Mana Rock, Mana Rock, and they're going to cost 0, 1, or 2 mana.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to go faster than my opponent because the thing I'm doing is powerful. Why would I wait to do it and put less powerful cards in the way of my opponent's powerful thing?
And that's the difference from your deck being a 7 and a 7.
Yes.
All decks are 7s.
Or being a piece of junk jank and CEDH.
Yeah.
Like, that's the fucking difference.
It goes from like tuned casual to like just casual. Those are some of the differences that when you're having the fucking turn 0 conversation, that's one of the things you bring up. Like,
yeah,
I have a lot of rocks in here so I can go super fast, or you don't.
Yeah, can you imagine if you took out these 3 probably just regular casual EDH cards and you put in 3 more mana rocks to go from 8 to 11, and they were like Mana Crypt because you pulled one out of a booster,
Yep.
Mana Vault because you found one in the bottom of a shoebox in a collection last year, and then like another
Commander Lotus because you beat somebody up out behind the LGS and
Commander
you took it.
Lotus, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, probably because you pulled it out of a booster pack as well, and you have a 7-drop commander, and it's not because you have all of the money or it's not because your friends allow you to proxy. It's just because that kind of stuff just happens.
Yeah.
You just get them in boosters or find them in collections or trade for them or trade your booster box chaff in for store credit. Or you go to FusionGamingOnline.com and get a discount on it by using CCO Fusion 5. And all of a sudden it's like you have to have a different Rule 0 conversation, right? Yeah. Just a thing of note.
That applies to all decks, not just this one.
Yeah.
But it is important to know. Let's do the Feasting.
Is this the last cat?
No, there's one more category after this one, but it's got the card that we had mentioned in passing way earlier in the show. Everybody forgot about that, but now I'm reminding them of it, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But let's do the Feasting first.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure.
We have Windfall.
Windfall, everybody discards, then draws the greatest number that discarded this way.
Stroke of Genius.
Target player draws X cards.
Species Specialist.
Whenever enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Whenever a creature of the chosen type dies, we'd probably use Slug.
Definitely.
Draw a card.
Like that one.
Fucking sweet.
Like that one. Skull Clamp.
When our slugs die, we continue to draw cards.
Search for Escanta.
Beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. You may put it into your graveyard. If you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, aka Threshold, transform, search for Escanta, and it transforms into Escanta, the Sunken Ruin.
I like how you said that.
Yeah, taps for 3. Nope. Taps for blue. There we go. And you can go blue 2, tap, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-creature, non-land card from them, put it blah, 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 blah.
It does Narset.
I was just going to say, it Narsets,
Yep.
which is like pay 3, draw a card, but you get to pick the best of the 4.
It's pretty good.
Yes.
I like that. Phyrexian Arena.
Draws a card.
Archmage Emeritus.
Okay, fucking good. Yeah. Whenever you cast or copy a spell, draw a card. So just like...
Instant or sorcery spell.
Sure. We got lots of those.
Yeah.
We got enough to go around.
Yeah.
That's like staple draw card on. to each thing.
You kill a thing, draw a card. Counter a spell, draw a card. Yeah.
It's pretty fucking good.
It's pretty okay.
And sometimes get a slug.
Yes.
Because if you're killing or casting like a sudden spoiling or something, you're going to get a slug too.
Oh, yeah.
Of which then you can sacrifice to draw another card.
Yeah. Or you can skull clamp it.
Pretty good.
To draw 2 cards.
Pretty dang old good. Now, the last category.
The slime.
The dirtiest category.
All right, we have Contagion Engine.
That is going to proliferate slime counters twice every time you activate it, thereby extra speeding up.
Yes.
Yes.
Now you're going snail speed instead of slug speed.
Ooh. What's faster?
I think a snail, because there was that movie where the snail was a race car.
Turbo?
Yeah, and he won a NASCAR race even though he was a snail.
Yes.
And didn't have a car, which I don't think that's how that works, but it's a kid's show, so I'm not going to dissect it too much.
Yes. The irony is there for the parents.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Flux Channeler.
Flux Channeler.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Can any other podcast make that joke? Oh, yeah, they can. There's lots of podcasts that swear. Whenever you cast a non-creature, proliferate.
That is a highly underrated card.
That's a good-ass card.
That is a really good card.
Mana Rock, get another slime. Your guy dies, I'll get a slug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Counter spell, so you don't cast your Wrath of God. Proliferate, I'll get another slug.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
Inexorable Tide.
Whenever you cast a spell, proliferate.
Not as good as Flux Channeler.
Flux Channeler.
But good. It's like shitty Flux Channeler because it costs 5. That's why it's shitty.
But it also doesn't die to a removal spell.
That's well, sure it does. It just dies to a different removal spell.
Less common removal spell.
You think?
100%. There are less disenchants or things that get enchantments than get creatures.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
if you're playing against red decks, you're safe.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a whole color that can't even get this card.
That's true. Okay, and the last one, possibly one of my favorite cards released in the last set, because there weren't very many. That's not a hard bar to jump over. But anyway, it's the Sludge Monster.
Sludge Monster. This is a 5/5 horror. He's not a slime? He's not a slug?
He's not an ooze?
Come on. You knew you were printing Toxrill. 5/5 horror for blue 3. Whenever Sludge Monster enters the battlefield or attacks, put a slime counter on up to one other target creature.
Gee, there's why Toxrill has blue in him. So slime counter bros.
There we go. This is slime bros. Do not Google.
No. Nope.
Non-horror creatures with slime counters on them lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 2/2.
Yeah.
2 turns have to end, and then things that have slime counters on them die when you have Sludge Monster out.
Yes.
Full stop.
Yes.
That is pretty cool.
It's like a sudden spoiling for their whole team.
Sudden,
unless they have
sudden
horrors.
sliming.
Yes.
Sudden sludging.
Don't Google either of those things either. There's a lot of things we should not Google during this show.
Yeah.
Turns out when there's slime-themed decks, you just don't want to be on the internet.
Well, do you remember during Ikoria and I said all about the tentacles I'm going to have to paint?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I guess. But
Let's move on.
That's the deck.
Yeah.
We did the whole deck.
Strengths and weaknesses.
Strengths and weaknesses.
I want to go to strengths.
Okay.
Feels like a classic. Feels like a classic by way of Dimir control, keeping the board clear. You're playing things like Urborg Justice and Pact of Negation. Grave Pact.
Yep.
Counterspell. Right?
Yep.
Classic.
I it's like a modernized classic too, because back in the day when you'd play like the 7-mana legendary creature,
Yes.
that they stopped printing for a long time.
Dude, you must have read my notes.
And
you
here,
must have read it.
I didn't though. You know I didn't.
I know.
And now here we have a 7-cost commander that's been updated and modernized for today's EDH player, and it builds it, as you can see from the deck we've talked about today. We have a classic feeling deck.
Yep.
Built around that classic splashy big mana commandy.
Yes, my next note under feels like a classic is high CMC commander feels like a classic.
Oh, neat.
Kick that over to the weaknesses though. 7, 9, 11, only 8 mana rocks, not a whole ton of extraneous mana production.
Yeah, this is not Omnath. You're going to be able to play it when it dies 12 times.
You know what this is like? when you say an updated classic, I think of in the automotive industry, which is a comparison that I like. A resto mod is when you take like an old vehicle, a classic car, you restore it and modify it. So you lower it, you put big wheels on it, you put a big motor in it, you modernize the interior with leather and pinstriping and suede and shit, right? Resto mod. If you crash that car, they're still not airbags. We still fucking die by the dash going through our head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what this is like.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I love it. I love a good resto mod. More strengths. We'll bang through them. Controls the board well.
Very well.
Meme value.
Yep.
Slime value, I should say.
Yes. Your commander has a brain for an ass. That's amazing.
I think that you could tune this deck for CEDH or for budget.
Yes.
And the budget side, maybe you tribalize it. The CEDH side, you make it like a fucking killing stacks death machine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a weakness too, because people sometimes don't like to play against that deck.
Well, when you put the stacks deck together, especially in CEDH,
And you play the CEDH.
CEDH players don't complain when you play stacks. They just don't.
Right. You're right.
They just don't.
You're right. That is a tried and true strategy. Let's move over to the budge.
Sure.
Let's budge to the budge.
Okay.
Yeah. $502, but it doesn't actually cost that much because there's some signets in here from secret layers that are like $25 each or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like $30 or something they total. Okay, so that's one. Pact of Negation. If that just becomes a removal spell that says destroy a creature, you're going to save $80. That's a thing. Morphic Pool. I'm not sure we need. That's a land. It's a 2-color deck. We've got some card draw. Do we need the Morphic Pools and the Watery Graves and the showcase arts and stuff? Like, it's just added value that isn't, it's artificial value when you look at what the deck's worth.
Yeah. Like, you could probably build this deck for what, $300?
Well, you know what? There's a couple other foils and stuff that are just showing what the foil price is, like the Vona's Hunger and the Zulaport Cutthroat that's from a secret layer or something. If you take that kind of stuff out, you get the deck down to $300.
Yeah.
And that's just like regular cards, right?
Yeah. And these are all cards they're all fairly modern. They're all fairly easily accessible. You could cut some of the more expensive stuff for some just commander stapley stuff like a Lightning Greaves or a Swiftfoot Boots or something to protect Toxrill.
You don't need that Urborg Justice for $10. You can put in a Go for the Throat or like something from a precon that just says destroy target creature.
Yeah.
Or destroy 2 target creatures for... There's a couple cards that say destroy 2 target creatures, lose 5 life.
Yeah.
Those are good if you have slime counters on those creatures that you're killing.
Sure, yeah.
Those are good. Or I like -X/-X's in this deck because Toxrill's already making them smaller, so those minuses get more effective.
Correct.
Just little ways that you can kind of cut corners on cost are always important.
You could play Yeheni's Expertise, I think would be a neat card in this deck.
-3/-3, and then you can play I
think it's a 3-drop.
A 3-drop, yeah, because it costs 4.
Yeah, so like you could use that free spell to kill the fucking thing that wasn't shriveled up and destroyed by the combination of Toxrill and Yeheni's Expertise.
Yep.
And you get everything, so they don't have that big threat anymore, right?
Yep.
Like,
and if you miss anything with that, then you can play a 3-drop from your hand, which could just be another Terror or Doomblade.
Yeah.
And then you get the last thing.
Yeah.
And then you get more slugs.
Correct.
I think that's all good. Final category or final section.
Yeah.
Not too spicy because lots of matches in the Mana Rocks and control portion of the deck.
Yes.
But I did see some things that were most definitely tribal cards as well. Like Maskwood Nexus or whatever. Like I seen some slug stuff too.
Yes.
So I think right now the deck is split 3 ways. Like normal control, CEDH because I saw all the free shit, and then I saw all the tribal stuff. So let's go through some of the numbers.
Okay.
207 decks on EDHREC.com.
That
is 27th among Dimir commanders. It's pretty far down.
Puts it right below Rona, Disciple of Gix, And right above Tygam, Sidisi's Hand.
Two hits classics for the ages.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
And given that when I said those two card names, virtually nobody knows what either of them does, that tells you how far down Toxrill is. But they're going up.
Definitely.
By the time you hear this, there will be more.
Old brain ass will be up there.
Oh, yeah.
293 average converted mana cost.
That's
pretty low.
Pretty low.
And you could get even lower without changing the deck too much if you just took out some of those expensive cards monetarily and added in the Doomblades and the Terrors and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
Tragic Slips and what have you, right? Just make it a removal machine gun. No tutors, but lots of redundancies in like the clone effects and the removal effects, right? So we punch it all in. 21 unique cards that aren't on the Toxrill page on EDH. Punch it all in. 38.6 spicy.
It's all right.
It's all right. It's okay.
As much as this is a really cool commander and a really cool build-around commander, it is sort of one that sort of tells you what to do with it.
Kill your opponent's stuff.
And no matter what your deck does, it's always probably going to have that lots of removal, lots of creature shrinking shell just in it. So you're going to see some of that sometimes, I think. You know what was missing from these decks? I just realized.
What is it?
Massacre Worm?
Oh, yeah.
Would be so good in this deck.
That's a good-ass card right there.
So good. And what that new enchantment that's like $1 bazillion.
The Meat Hook Butthole Massacre.
That's the one. That would be really good in here, too.
Both of those are on the EDH rec page.
Are they?
Yeah,
okay.
very. Oh, of course they are. They do exactly what the deck wants you to do.
Cool. And I missed them. But
I got one more thing.
Hit me with it.
Can you hit me with a card of the week?
A card of the week.
Yes, that.
Yeah, I totally can. Sludge Monster.
Oh, I was just gonna give it Toxrill. You know what? Double card of the week. Toxrill and Sludge Monster. Get them both. FusionGamingOnline.com. CCO Fusion 5 promo code. You save a little bit on Toxrill because he's like $12. You save like a penny on Sludge Monster because he's 25 cents.
Yeah.
And you get yourself 2 slimy boys.
Don't Google that.
No,
don't even do that. You know what you can Google though?
What is it?
What you can Google is the Commander Cookout Kickstarter. Still lots of time for you to get on board with that. Get yourself a playmat, maybe some dice, some tokens, whole bunch of really cool shit while supporting the show and blinging out your life.
Very much so.
We're bling out your life.
We're going to talk about something. We're going to talk about something on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Bonus episode tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Did I do some of your job?
Well, I did some of your job. You did some of my job.
This?
It's DDO, baby.
Don't support their Kickstarter.
No. It's because we're back from Vegas.
We don't know our dinks from our assholes.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't know our sludge brains from our sludge asses.
There's been so much dink stomp lip slap happen. We just don't even know what's going on.
And ass braining.
Yep.
I don't know what that means.
Maybe, probably. Hey, man, you know what? There's some debauchery that happens in Vegas, and what happens there stays there. Unless it's something that's very impactful to your real life. So,
like winning the lottery if you gamble, or like winning the jackpot if you put $1 into a slot machine.
I was thinking more you get too drunk and one of you dies and you got to bury him out in the desert.
Oh,
and
wow.
Yeah. And, just that kind of thing has far-reaching and lasting impact on your life. So, don't do that. Take care of each other.
Yes, CCO life lesson and final thought of the day rolled into one.
We did it. We got there. So big thanks to you for being here. Thanks to FusionGamingOnline.com for being our official business daddy, helping us keep the lights on. And we will be back tomorrow with another very exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!